Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the Coaches Show. I'm Lloyd Shoemaker, and next to me is the head chief of the Indian Nation, Coach Bill Neese, and we just came off of a very disgusting Friday night. I kind of feel that way about it, Coach. It was a loss against Greenville. I never thought first part of the year that would be a game that we'd have to put in the loss column. Final score 28-21. While I'm still in a good mood, let me get the sponsors in. First Choice Paint and Body Shop on North 25A. They're our main sponsor. We appreciate their contribution to WOTVC Channel 5, and also our halftime sponsors, which are Coverman, Staley, and Dickerson Insurance, with offices in Troy, Covington, and downtown Piqua, in conjunction with the Buckeye Insurance Group here in Piqua. The two of them go together and become our sponsors for our halftime show. Coach, 28-21 Greenville. I thought coming into the ball game, coming out to the ball game, I felt a little bit responsible if it didn't turn out well, because last week I didn't have on my Channel 5 shirt. I was feeling extremely overly confident going into the ball game, especially when I was sitting up in the visitors' press box and the two coaches came in up there giggling and carrying on like they thought they were going to win. So I'm thinking, well, get over it, guys. It's not going to happen. They won the toss. They decided to take the ball. I'm thinking, boy, they're playing right into our hands. Nice. Thank you very much. First 5 plays. What'd it go? 5 plays, 151 off the clock, 15-yard pass from Clay, or 7-0.
Yeah, we started off the game not very well. They came out, threw the ball well. Their quarterback's an excellent thrower, and at that point, we settled in a little bit, but we got ourselves in a hole almost immediately. Well,
you talked last week when we were previewing the game. You talked about Clay being a good quarterback to watch, but not from an opponent standpoint. And I see what you mean. He is a good quarterback.
Does a lot of good things for me. They have an offense that's catered to him very well, and that was a position where they had their best guy back off an injury. We came in with a couple of our best guys not on the field for us, and he was able to perform.
Do you think not having Trent out there, for instance, made the difference? Or could have made a difference?
I don't know if it could have made a difference. I don't think it could have hurt. Having him out there. The running backs we have do a great job, but I think he would have just been, one more added benefit. But the guys that play, Darian does a great job at running back. He had one of his best games. I thought the Shrub kid came in. I thought Elijah came in. I think we just had to get some of the other pieces involved.
There was a couple of plays that Clemens got free, got into the secondary, wasn't able to outrun the safety.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a bigger.
And Yeomans would have.
Well, he's a bigger back too. Yeah. And there's a different style of runner. Probably on the way to getting into that secondary, though, he probably ran over 2 or 3 guys that maybe the other running back wouldn't have ran into.
Yeah, he come out in the second half, and I don't want to get too far ahead here, but the second half he seemed to be more of a punishing runner.
Yeah.
He was really banging into people.
He's a tough guy to tackle.
Yeah. Well, we get on our first series, didn't turn out so good. 4 plays and our defense is back on the field. But I thought they really did a good job. Actually, Greenville lost 6 yards on that series with a penalty.
I think defensively we had some good moments. I think we had some average moments, and one of the nice things, as you'll get to later on in the second half, is I thought when we needed to get the ball back, we were able to get to hold Greenville to 2 3-and-outs toward the end of the game and give us an opportunity. As many things as we didn't do well, we were still able to take it down to the last minute and try to win the game.
Yeah. Well, finally we get on the board with 3:01 left on the clock. Clemens. It was 4th and 1 at Greenville. 7 scores. If I remember correct, didn't he go in untouched? He went right through a nice hole.
Made a great cut. Came back. We had a good double, and a couple of linemen got pancake blocks, and he was in the end zone. Yeah,
he had 4 consecutive carries, punishing carries, in that series too. Now we're tied up after the point is good, 7-7. 3:36 off the clock. 3 minutes, 36 seconds.
And I think our offensive line, I think they exerted themselves, a little bit more than they have in the, in the past. And when we got our grades in this week, every one of our offensive linemen graded out over 70%, and that's never happened this year. Wow. So we felt we made a little bit of strides there with our offensive line because we've been struggling a little bit there.
In the middle of that series, going down to score, Rupert to Gertner on 3rd and 12. From Greenville's 42 gate was 1st and 10 at Greenville's 16.
Mm-hmm. And with Rupert, the scrambles, they're good, and sometimes the scrambles get us into hot water. And I think we've got to get a little bit more of a balance between that type of stuff.
He hasn't gotten it down yet, running to his left, throwing with the right hand, has he?
Yeah, well, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to get your shoulders squared around.
Yeah. A couple of standoffs defensively until Greenville scores with 10:05 in the second. It's now 14-7, and this is when Clay hurt us on a run from the Piqua 4. We got loose.
Got loose. We had a break, and we weren't lined up right. They came out in unbalanced type defense or offense, and we did not get the call correctly, and as a result, they had us outnumbered on the backside.
Yeah. Piqua 10-play scoring drive using 3:40 off the clock. Clemens again. Second and goal from the Greenville 3. Point afterwards are now 14-14, and we're looking pretty good, almost going into halftime.
Yeah, I think so. I think that that everybody knew it was a struggle. I knew we knew going into the game, from watching film and from the amount of people Greenville had back, that there was going to be a quality football team.
Yeah. Now, have they had anybody else out of their starting 11 on offense besides Clay, the quarterback? Anybody else injured?
No, nothing. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, on the next series, 4th and 3 from the Piqua 12, we got called for interference. Was that the one on Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 1st and goal from the Piqua 5. Quarterback just sort of dances in, 21-14.
Yeah, and that's one we thought we were out of it. We thought we played tough defense. Down at the bottom, we got a quarterback sack. We had them backed up, and that was something that we should have been able to get out of. And that's one. We talked today at our meetings about we probably needed to have 2 more touchdowns on offense and 1 less touchdown on defense. And I think that was the one on defense that we could have done without. Well,
with 1:33 to go in the first half, we started our own 21. We had another one of those snaps, one of those Vandalia Butler snaps. And now 2nd and 5 from the Piqua 31, second time of the night. Was it the rain? Was it the concentration? Any idea what was the problem with the snaps?
Well, we're exploring all the dimensions of that problem, and we're not quite sure if we have it solved yet or not. We continue to work at it. It's tough to pinpoint when you're looking at a couple different situations.
Yeah. Well, if you had a 6'6" quarterback, we probably wouldn't have that problem. But that's not what we got. So there you go. Obviously, this possession looked like what we needed to do was to score. We ended up punting, but we get the ball back to start the third quarter, which is what you wanted to do, but you didn't have that momentum going into the third quarter that you really wanted, did you?
No. Yeah. And I think we went 3 and out, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of the locker room.
Yep.
And that's definitely what you don't want. You don't want them scoring on their first and you going 3 and out, because now you flip the possessions.
Well, halftime 21-14 favor to Greenville. We're going to take a break right now for halftime. We got a halftime guest we want you to listen to and see. Austin Hall, don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. It's Lloyd Shoemaker again with our special halftime guest today is Austin Hall, linebacker for the Piqua Indians. First of all, I want to be sure and thank our halftime sponsors, and that's Coverman Staley Dickerson Insurance in cooperation with the Buckeye Insurance Group here in Piqua, Ohio. Coverman Staley Dickerson has 3 offices, one in Troy, one in Greenville, and one in downtown Piqua, and we want to thank them for their donation to Channel 5 in support of the Coaches Show. Austin, you guys came off of a very heartbreaking loss Friday night against somebody like Greenville. What in the world happened?
I don't know. I just don't think that we were just playing as a team and just getting together and just relying and believing in our team as a whole. We just got down on each other when bad things happen. I think we just need to focus on just playing as a family and get out there and we can come on Trotwood and make a big upset against them.
Well, I tell you, it started out with the way we wanted things to go. They took the ball. We get it to start third quarter. Coach loves that. He dreams about that every year at Christmas time. But a minute 50 later, they're on the scoreboard. They only ran like 5 or 6 plays, and they went right down the field and scored on you guys.
Yeah, I know. It's just crazy because we were all there on defense. We're sitting there fighting. We're getting hyped up, made a couple big plays, getting hyped up, had the energy that we needed, and they come back and get a big play, and we just get down on ourselves again. We just got to keep that energy throughout the whole game.
It didn't see. You're right. I think about the energy thing. I think you're exactly right, because I did not see Friday night a consistency on defense. Well, you guys played some pretty good defense during the second half, but it wasn't consistent. And then the offense certainly wasn't consistent like we expect out of them, the big plays, the short possession times, things like that. It just seemed to be a lot of things that were just out of whack.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the defense is we just need to wrap up, make tackles, and just get the guy to the ground and stop focusing on trying to be a hero all the time. We just got to play as a team and run like we've been doing in practice. We've been going through 2 days this whole time. We just got to keep that energy level the whole time.
Okay. Well, you've got Trotwood coming in this week. They're very explosive, scoring a lot of points. They've only lost one game so far. They're in the lead in the GWAC North. What are you guys planning on to do to stop them?
I think we're just going to come out with a lot of intensity and just believe in each other. And I think that we're going to come out here and have a big upset and believe that we can do this.
Okay, great. Well, we're certainly looking forward to that. Now, you used to play basketball.
Yeah.
You still playing baseball?
I'm going to play this year.
Going to play this year? What position you play in baseball?
I'm kind of like I play anywhere.
Okay.
Except for catcher.
Okay. Why not catcher?
I don't know. I played catcher all growing up, and then it just kind of grew away with me. The heat wasn't good for me.
You know, you've been on the football team now, the varsity team, for 3 years. You played special teams up until becoming a full-time linebacker. What's your plans after football?
I'm hopefully planning on going to play college somewhere, football. Then just go to a college where I can excel in my academics and both on the football field.
Pretty good student?
Yeah, I'm a pretty good student.
What's your grade point?
Last year my grade point average was a 3.8. I'm probably down to maybe a 3.2 area.
Okay. Any idea where you want to go to school?
Best school that I think fits me both on the football field and academically. So I'm not for sure yet.
Okay. So what's your major going to be?
I'm thinking about going towards the sports medicine area.
Okay. Well, that would keep you involved in sports, right?
Yeah,
that'd be great.
That's my main reason.
Well, listen, we want to thank you for being with us today, and take care of your thumb, my friend. You got it's kind of important when you try and tackle somebody.
Yeah.
Any chance they're going to cast that?
Yeah, I'm just going to wrap it up and go back out there and play.
Okay. Get the maverick here. Well, hey, we want to thank you again for being with us. We appreciate you being here at halftime, and we want to thank you for staying with us during the halftime. We're going to be back with the coach in just a second, but I want to thank our sponsors again, Coverman Staley Dickerson Insurance, with 3 offices in Miami County and Covington, Troy, and in downtown Piqua, and in partnership with the Buckeye Insurance Group. We want to thank both of them for their donations to Channel 5. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the coach. Thanks, buddy. Welcome back, folks. Third quarter, we want to talk about some more of the second half of the football game. Again, we want to thank our sponsors, Coverman Staley Dickerson Insurance, along with the Buckeye Insurance Group here in Piqua for sponsoring a halftime show. And we also want to thank our main sponsor, First Choice Paint and Body Shop on North 25A here in Piqua. You get a dent, need your car fixed, put back together, stop and see those guys at First Choice Paint and Body Shop. Third quarter, you got Hudson and Clemens back here side by side now. They're going to two-man back, two-back spread. But we go 3 and out. And I thought, well, you know, they're keying on Clemens. They did a lot in that first half, although he still got through a couple times for touchdowns. But now you're going to go with 2 good running backs back there. What was you thinking?
Well, I was thinking those 2 guys need to be back there. Also, we had Shrub back there. We had Al Shrub back there as a lead blocker, and we thought we were going to get something established on the ground, maybe get settled in and get, just move the sticks a little bit. Once we move the sticks a little bit, kind of get momentum, then we can open things up, and get something going.
Kind of like running downhill.
Kind of like running downhill, but the only problem, we wanted to start gliding, but we wanted to make sure we didn't get our feet clear up off the ground. We wanted to keep them a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, we went 3 and out, not what we expected. Greenville gets the ball back, 1st and 10 at the Greenville 37. They go strictly almost running from that point on, don't they?
Yeah, and you know, the second half was a little different story for them offensively. They went into a ground control game, and they were going to keep the game close. They were going to do what they had to do to be able to eat time off the clock, keep us off the field, keep our offense off the field, and do what they can. And for the most part, they did a good job of that.
Well, they obviously knew that we were capable of scoring quickly.
Yes.
And so they figured, well, obviously, if you can't have the ball, you can't score. So they were doing a very good job of that. 4.5 minutes, we have our defense back on the field. 10 plays, mostly run. Smeezing had a heck of a sack in that series.
That was big. That was big. Yeah,
he hit that clay pretty hard on that one. I was kidding him about it when I came in here. With 4th and 11 at the Piqua 34, that was 4th and 11 with Piqua 34. And they just didn't seem like they were showing any respect for our defense, but our defense was playing pretty good, but they were just running at us hard. 1st and 25 from Greenville 25. We had a bad snap. So now it's 2nd and 26. And I thought when we were down on that 25-yard line and we had a first down, I'm thinking we're going to score on this. This is not a problem. We're going to be able to go 25 yards with our running backs. We don't have to throw it. We can beat them pretty hard going in there. And then we have another one of those bad snaps. Now we're 2nd and 26 from Greenville's 41.
Yeah, the tempo. You know, anytime you get one of those bad snaps, you know, it's just mind-boggling the type of tempo that it does to you.
It's like letting the air out of a balloon. Just the way it goes. We end up punting to the Greenville 5. Was that the one that you were alluding to where he
number one, it was, you know, going back and catching a ball like that, and then number two, you know, it was a bobbled punt, and you know, we were close, but we just didn't come up with it.
Yeah. Well, 12 plays and into the fourth quarter, Greenville scores quarterback again from the pick was 27, or from the 17. It's now 28-14. Now we're going to have to score twice in the fourth quarter to get back in this ball game, at least tie it up.
Yeah, and you know, I think this is where the defense played a little bit better in the course of the game and getting us the ball back and getting some opportunities to score. Yeah,
I thought the defense played much better in the second half also, Coach. 4 minutes later, we stall out at the Greenville 10. You took all 4 downs. I think you had 1st and goal from inside the 10, and then
that was probably that series was the struggle. I think that we went all the way down there and we weren't able to get points on the board, and we had to get 7 on the board. There was no sense in getting a 3 at that point.
You had 3.
Yeah, and for us not to be able to make that kind of is the telling tale.
Yeah, and in that series of getting down there, there were just too many plays and took too much time. We just didn't get a quick thing going.
Yep.
Yeah. We hold on defense and get the ball back with about 4:27 to go. So I'm thinking, well, if we can get a couple of quick ones like we're capable of doing, we'll be all right. But we go pretty fast, 56 seconds off the clock, and a good pass to Colton Bachman from doesn't have the yardage down, but from the Greenville 6. Now it's 28-21. So we're almost there.
Yeah, and the thing is, we've got 2 timeouts in our pocket, and so we elect to go ahead and kick off deep rather than try to onside, because, you know, obviously you were thinking, well, should we onside, should we not onside? But with our 2 timeouts, we figure like we can go ahead and take it deep, hold them, use the timeouts, and then get the ball back with good field position. So we sacrificed a little bit on the field position with the gamble that we could stop them. It worked. We forced them to punt, and then at that point we had a short field.
Well, I kept hearing the coaches up there talking about watch the squib kick, watch the onside kick, stuff like that. And I thought when you kicked it deep, that was the best thing to do, because why give them a short field when you can hold them to 80 yards?
Now, if it was 45 seconds left in the game, different story.
Yeah.
You got to go for it right there. But when you got a good 3.5 minutes and you're playing pretty well on defense at that point, and knowing that they've pretty much abandoned the pass at that point and they're going to run the football, you know, it was a good shot, and our defense rose up big, and then all we had to do is just, you know, hopefully finish it up.
Well, you know, I wrote this in my notes, but I also wrote it on my notes during the ball game. I looked up at that clock and I thought, you know, this thing's getting exciting. 28-21. We're going to hold them defensively. We're going to get the ball back. We did get it back. We held them to 3 and out. We got the ball back with 2:18 to go, but we just could not get anything going.
No, and it was another example of just, you know, we were not in sync, and we weren't able to get the thing going. You know, we tried to roll Rupert out to, you know, get him out of the pocket a little bit, see if we can do some things, and it just wasn't clicking.
That last play, the 4th and whatever it was. The coaches up in the box said all they said to the guys on the field was turn him loose, and that was that middle linebacker. They just parted the waters, and he just.
Well, actually, he guessed wrong.
Oh, he did?
Went the opposite way, but the kid was athletic enough to come back around, and he was just chasing him.
Yeah. Well, final score 28-21, and I tell you, Coach, your kids get a lot of respect from the other coaches, some of the individual players. Coming onto the field to begin the ball game, all of them were identifying where Honeycutt was, and by name, not by number, by name. And then after Clemens did the running that he did out there, and I think he was on the front line on the kickoffs, and their coaches kept saying to the ones on the field, don't come out of your huddle until you see how Piqua was lined up. Because once they saw where you were lined up, then they would tell them where to squib kick it to the other side, keep it away from Clemens.
Right.
So great respect for your players, and that means a lot to them too. 28-21, favor of Greenville. The same score as the week before.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I don't like that. So anyway, we got Trotwood coming in this week. Right now, the standings in the North is Trotwood's 6-1 in the conference. I'm sorry, overall 2-0 in the league, with tied with Butler and Greenville. Who would have ever thought that? But Trotwood's got a 6-1 record overall. There's 3 teams now, 3-4: Butler, Greenville, and Piqua. Sydney's right there at 2-5, and Troy 0-7. Some of the scores from Friday night that affect us up here: Trotwood 28, Troy nothing. Really expected that to be a bigger margin than that.
Well, I think everybody did, but different weeks, different things.
Yeah.
It's tough to play at an excellent level, every week.
Well, a team like Trotwood too is as good as they are, as well as they're playing, to go into a Troy situation who hasn't won a game, who's had the clock running most of the second half, probably all year long. It's hard to get fired up for something like that, isn't it?
Well, I would assume.
Yeah. Butler 39, Sydney 7. Who else we got in there? Well, we got us. We don't want to do that one again. Springboro 42, Xenia 14. Miamisburg still rolling. They only have the one loss against Wayne, 32-0 over Fairborn. Wayne took out Fairmont 32-0. We talked about points a couple of weeks ago or last week, and the teams that are still winning that we beat, Urbana's put some wins on the board since we played them, haven't they?
Yeah, they're 4-3 right now.
4-3. Okay. So when you look at the stats from the ball game last Friday night, we want to do that real quick just to give some kids here, if I can find what I did with them. I do have them, folks. No, I don't have them. I think Rupert was probably, 50-60% on passes?
Yardage-wise, everything was almost even. It was about, I think, 310 to 299. I think was the yard-wise. You got them up there?
No, I don't.
No.
I didn't print them.
Yards was essentially the same. Rupert threw for about 55-60% of his passes, but there wasn't a whole lot of yards with the passes, and that's something we probably need to get a little bit better at.
Well, you talked earlier about Clemens and having a good night. He was like 140 yards, something like that?
Yeah, big night for a sophomore.
Yeah, big night, big night. Coming up this Friday night, Sydney's at Troy. Trotwood's here, of course. Butler's playing at Greenville. What do you think about that game? Is that going to be a pretty good ball
Interesting game? I think both of those teams are very good football teams. We've played them both. I think on any given night, any of the three of us could have won those games, depending on how the ball bounces. So it's going to be an interesting race here down to the wire.
Yeah. Trotwood's coming in. They're loaded again. Are they big? Are they big kids? They got big kids on this team?
Probably not as massive as they usually are, but they still got some above average size people.
So what are they doing best? I mean, besides
they run the football. They run the football real well with their tailbacks. They've got 2 tailbacks and just run their isolation plays and run the play action pass. And the quarterback does a nice job of being able to locate receivers. And defensively, they're always solid. They've got great speed on defense, and they can close and they can make up for a lot of any type of error that one guy might be able to do. There's 3 guys that can close in and make it, and they pursue well.
What's your plan?
Plan is we want to try to be more effective stopping the run. And last couple of weeks I thought we have gotten better. We've got to make sure that we're going to gang tackle. I think those are the big things. If they're going to be able to run the football at us, it's going to be a long night for us. And I think on the other side, hopefully we're going to be able to get our passing game a little bit more spread out. We're going to try to get down the field a little bit more.
Okay. Well, good luck Friday night.
Thank you.
Homecoming Friday night, Piqua Stadium. Come on out. Coach, thanks again for your time. Good luck Friday night. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.